Last year, October 2023, the island tilted. The peaceful bliss of sea, sun, and sand was transcended as we took to the streets to revel in paradise.
We love Tobago Carnival!
Tobago! It's such a nice place!
Tobago Carnival, we're right here. We're not leaving it, we go right down.
It's the greatest, it's the best, it's safe, and it's beautiful.
I love Tobago, baby. Coming back next year. Hey!
Playing pan on the streets is a magical experience. When the band strike up, is rhythm, steel and powder. This is Tobago Carnival, pan in paradise.
Tobago is the best.
Tobago Carnival is the new home for the legend of Calypso. Where else can you get sweet Calypso music that gives you that nostalgic feeling?
Soca Titans is we title, is we monarch. We build artists from scratch who can perform with the best. Real titans of soca.
When last you've been to a party, plenty women looking so nice. We must be in paradise.
This year, ritual takes on new space and dimension. Traditions will be reimagined, breaking free and taking on new meaning on the road.
I love the energy!
This year, the revelry is bigger and better. More colors, more meaning, great packages for the masqueraders. Tobago Carnival is freedom.
This year promoting safety in all events for Tobago Carnival. This year promoting whining, not minding people business. This year promoting clean fun, security and freedom.
Freedom to be any version of yourself that you choose to be with love and safety. Here, you have permission to be you, uninhibited and free.
So what you waiting on? This year, this October 2024, experience the ritual, revel in paradise, release yourself. From the greatest little island on the planet, this is the Tobago Carnival 2024.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. Good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. It is Monday, 24th June 2024 and we're heading into the rainy season. Yes, it's a wet morning this morning, and as we come to you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago, I am Adana Kumbi. If you are leaving home this morning, I advise you to walk with your umbrella, your raincoat, your jacket, whatever you have, even if you have our rain boots. Remember to protect yourself this morning. We have started the rainy season and so you can expect some showers most mornings when you're heading out. We're coming out of the weekend and of course we're excited to know what you did over the weekend. But before we get into all of those conversations this morning, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
News in 90 seconds is brought to you by Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, June 24th, 2024. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine will present Tobago's budget for fiscal year 2024-2025 in the Assembly Legislature today. The budget is expected to focus on human capital development to advance Tobago's overall growth, according to Augustine. As mandated by the THA Act 40 of 1996, the budget must be read and passed in the House by the end of the third quarter of the fiscal year. For exclusive coverage of the budget presentation, tune into Tobago Updates Television on Facebook or YouTube. Up next, former Acting Commissioner of Police Stephen Williams is serving as a consultant to Commissioner of Police Yearwood Christopher at a rate of $800 per hour based on hours worked. Williams clarified that he is a consultant, not an advisor, noting that consultants are paid per hour of service rather than on a monthly routine. While he did not detail the specifics of his consultancy, he confirmed it involves police-related matters. Williams served as acting commissioner multiple times from 2010 to 2018. Since retiring in 2018, he has provided lecturers and training workshops to the TTPS, but this is his first formal engagement with a sitting commissioner of police. And finally, reports indicate that a 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Venezuela, west of Trinidad at 11:59 p.m. on Saturday. Trinidad, including Sandy Grande, Fort and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, reported feeling the quake. Many described it as strong and prolonged, with some being woken by the tremors. The quake caused electricity outages in northern and northwestern Trinidad, affecting areas such as Carenage, Santa Cruz, North Coast Road, and Glencoe. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Thank you, Bianna, for our news there in 90 seconds. And of course, we're going to see that budget being read this morning, and we're looking forward to seeing what is happening there. Bianna, what are you looking forward to most in that budget presentation this morning?
Basically, the dealing of the crime situation on the island. Looking forward to hear what's going to take place with that.
Exactly my sentiments as well. You know, I was about to say that that is very, very important right now as we stand. And, you know, we've never had to deal with this measure of crime on the island. And so it is very important to see what the strategy is in terms of the demands for that type of support in terms of curbing crime this fiscal. You know, it's rainy season.
Yes, it is.
You know, it is wet outside. And of course, you know, how has it been for you over the weekend? I know we had recorded an earthquake on Saturday night. I think it was 6.2 they recorded there. Did you feel the earthquake at all?
No, I did not.
Bianna, I felt that earthquake. I know it was about midnight, just about midnight, but for some reason I was awake and I felt that earthquake, and I hope, you know, that everyone who felt it, you know, you still feel safe, you know. It's quite safe. These things do happen when the temperature changes. A lot of things can cause this type of, you know, movement. But, you know, just maintain your calm and, you know, read up and get the information and protect yourself where necessary. Bianna, I do hope that you have a wonderful week this week. I know a couple of weeks ago our word for the week was productivity. So let's see if we could find a word for this week as well, and we'll check back in again on Friday.
But before we go, I would just like to say congratulations. Though she did not place in the first top 3, she was in the top 5. That is Miss Renisha Ortiz from Golden Lane, Tobago. We must say a hearty congratulations to her. She did Tobago proud.
Yes, definitely. And always, whenever we shine on a stage, you know, we always take pride in congratulating our very own here in Tobago. So again, congratulations to you, Renisha Ortiz. We are very proud of you, and thank you for, you know, representing us quite well. Thank you so much, Bianna. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we head on over to our birthday shout-outs. Yes, it's our birthday shout-outs here on Tobago Updates Television. And on screen this morning and celebrating a birthday, it's the twin from the hill. That's Avril and Arlene Allen. They are celebrating a birthday today. And Avril and Arlene, we want to give you, a birthday shout out this morning. We pray God's blessing upon your life. We pray, that as you continue to walk, that you walk in favor and purpose, and that you do enjoy your birthday celebration. Now, if you know this twin at all, you don't have to give them much encouragement. They will be enjoying their birthday today and probably for the rest of the week. Happy birthday to you, Avril and Arlene. This is belated birthday shout-outs going out to Daniel Oxley. Daniel celebrated his birthday yesterday. This is one of my youths from church. Yes, from Victory Outreach Church. Daniel celebrated yesterday, and I want to wish you a happy birthday, Daniel. I pray God's blessings upon your life, that you continue to walk in purpose and stay focused as you continue to achieve your goals. Happy birthday to you, Daniel. And next we have Stephanie Grant. Stephanie Grant is celebrating a birthday as well. And Stephanie, we want you to continue smiling, continue wearing that beautiful smile as you step into this new chapter of your life, this new year of your life. We wish you the very best on your birthday. We pray God's blessings upon your life. And of course, do enjoy a very, very happy birthday. And bringing up our birthday celebrations, this is the beautiful, the lovely, the gorgeous Catalina Combi. Yes, she is celebrating a birthday today, 12 years old today. This beautiful princess is celebrating, and so we want to wish you a very, very happy birthday. And in case you're wondering about the surname, yes, it's relative to mine as well. Yes, she's celebrating today. Happy birthday to you, sweet child, and we pray God's blessings upon your life. Happy birthday, my darling. All right, it's Monday morning and you might be wondering what's in my cup. Morning brew this morning. I am drinking sorrel bay leaf tea, and it's sponsored by LCJ Delights this morning, coming to you there in Signal Hill, making local teas and porridges and all your breakfast menus there. They have their flowers for porridges, waffles, pancakes and all the likes. And this morning they've sponsored my brew this morning, drinking sorrel bay leaf tea. All right, and of course you might be wondering, who are we having conversations with in studio this morning? And we start off by speaking with Senior Superintendent Arlette Groom and Sergeant Joseph Jordan of the TTPS. They bring, of course, our weekly TTPS crime update as it relates to things happening in Tobago. And we also speak about dealing with fraud. It's a very serious conversation we want to have this morning, and we do hope that you're a part of that conversation. And also we speak with Miss Ava McCall, yes, candidate for the Membership and Mobilization Officer in the TPP internal elections. So we want to be here for that conversation as well. And we do want to hear what your thoughts are as well as we have these conversations this morning. So stay with us. And of course, as you stay with us, we ask you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Notice is hereby given that the 63rd Annual General Meeting, AGM, of the Bethel Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited will take place using a hybrid format on Thursday, June 27th from 5 p.m. The physical location will be upstairs the Mount Marie branch office. The purpose of the meeting is to receive minutes of the 62nd Annual General Meeting, to receive reports as follows: statutory and board-appointed committees, report of the auditor and audited financial statements, to receive budgetary proposals for 2024, to elect officers, to approve general resolutions, and lastly to transact any other business that may properly come before the meeting. A digital copy of the AGM brochure is available on the website. Please visit our website at www.bethelcredituniontt.com or any one of our branches for further information.
Innovative, dedicated, impactful. The public service now and beyond. Today we celebrate our stalwarts who have left an enduring legacy on the public service in Tobago. Harold Stewart has served over 40 years in different spheres of the public service. However, his greatest challenge in life came when he assumed duties at the Department of Land Management between 1998 and 2022. Mr. Stewart was part of the team selected to build out the structure and enforce the Squatters Regularization Act in 1988. Though he was met with a lot of hostility, Mr. Stewart says the job at land management taught him the most life lessons and was, for him, most rewarding.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Sun Up Tobago is here. Join us on Saturday, July 6th from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Delta Compound Argyle for an unforgettable summer experience. Enjoy an all-inclusive experience with mouth-watering food, coolers are allowed, and best island vibe. This is a tickets-only event. Get your tickets now at Barco, Lust, and Pablo's Argyle. Don't miss out on the event of the summer. Sun Up Tobago, sponsored by Tobago Updates, B-Mobile, State Solutions, and Thorns Place.
Look at people in here tonight.
The countdown is on to the Tobago Public Service Day Expo 2024. Join us on July 5th at the Shore Park Complex to discover the dynamic world of public service where innovation meets dedication. Explore exciting careers, experience innovative services, enjoy interactive displays, and a whole lot more. Come join us on July 5th at the Shore Park Complex from 9:30 a.m. Visit the Office of the Chief Secretary's Facebook page for details. Tobago Public Service Day Expo 2024. Public service now and beyond.
I can't live without you, I can't be without you for too long. Cause when I'm around you, I feel like the heavens just come down. I feel it in my soul every time we on the road, it's a miracle.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. Good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you for staying with us. And before we start our conversations this morning in studio, I must say good morning to all of our viewers who are viewing us online. Good morning to our regular viewers, Miss Pearl Murray Beard, Brenda Campbell, good morning. Macmillan, Lady Mac, good morning. Renwick Job, Travis Moses, Julia Brown, good morning to you. Good morning, Suzette James, good morning, Sharon Andrews, Rodney Pigott, Hazel Isaac, Marilyn Spence, Joe Field, good morning to you, and a special good morning to our viewers out there in New York City. Yes, good morning to you in Baltimore. Good morning to you in Washington, D.C. A special good morning to all of you, whether you're viewing us on our Facebook live stream, on our YouTube channel, or on Amplia 1 or 2. Good morning and welcome. Thank you so much for choosing the morning show on Tobago Updates Television and making us the #1 morning show here in Trinidad and Tobago. We begin conversations this morning and we start speaking with Senior Superintendent Alex Groom and Sergeant Joseph Jordan. They bring us the weekly updates on crime here in the island of Tobago. They're representing the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Good morning to you, ma'am.
Good morning to you. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago.
Of course, on Mondays, it's always a pleasure to have conversations with the TTPS. We like to know where we are as an island, what has been done, what are the success stories, how many criminals we have apprehended, and just what is happening on the island, just to bring us a measure of comfort and security as we talk about the things that have been happening in the space. So what has happened over the last week in terms of crime, criminal activity, and detection and apprehension of criminals?
All right, good morning again. Well, in Tobago Division, I would just usually I've not been here for a while, but this morning I will do the statistical data as relates to the division. So the period that we are going to look at is January 1st to June 17, and we are going to compare 2023 to 2024. As relates to our serious report crimes, in 2023 we recorded 327 SRCs, with detecting 139 with a detection rate of 43%. For this year, we have seen an increase. We have gone to 342 SRCs, detecting 113 and a current detection rate of 33%. Now we have seen a slight increase, and the crimes that are contributing to this increase includes murders, shooting, woundings, robbery, and break-in offenses. Our current murder rate, or number of murders rather, we would have recorded 7 last year, and for the period under review, we have recorded 10. Shootings and woundings has increased significantly, as well as breaking offenses and robbery offenses. All the other SRCs have shown a reduction, and the division is working with some new measures, as we would have seen on the ground. We have our interagency task force, our guard and emergency brand, working alongside the various arms in the Tobago division to reduce and to bring back some serenity to the island of Tobago. One of the activities that took place over the weekend as it relates to these measures in improving our community relations is that in the Roxborough district, under the guidance of ASP John, Inspector Prince, and Sergeant Morrison, they conducted a walkabout reaching over 100 persons, or 100 homes in the Roxborough district. And during that venture, they would have interacted with persons as they really saw how they can protect themselves, how they can protect their property. And of course, the main purpose is to bridge that gap between the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and its clients, its customers, because that information, we can't do it alone. That information must come from within our community. So it is important that we continue to foster that community relations with our customers.
And now I know you've been having a lot of town hall meetings in different communities across the island for that same community engagement and involvement. As we always say on this show, if you see something, say something. And so involving the community in the conversation, what has it been like in terms of the buy-in to the conversation? Have they been supporting the community meetings? Have they been voicing their opinions? Have they been, coming on board, seeing themselves as partners in the fight against crime on the island of Tobago?
Yes. If there's one thing that has been constant, whenever the police go out into the communities, there is that positive reaction, that positive outcome. Persons are coming forward, they are sharing information, they are giving the police ideas. If there's one thing that comes out of a town meeting or a police community meeting, is that persons are going to either do it on the open floor. They would say, officer, so and so, let's try this. Let's try that. So they of themselves are bringing the information to us. They are providing solutions, and it's for us to foster that relationship and see how best we can work together to reduce crime. So yes, it's a positive outcome, and we continue to encourage it. We have for example, we also would engage the police youth clubs. Mm-hmm. And out of those young people, there are persons who have the capacity to share ideas, who would bring about a different view, because we are the youths, as the youth, as we will say, and we have to include them in whatever plans and action we are about to take.
Right, and I know that you have a lot of strategies implemented, as you mentioned also, the walkabout is one of them, to ensure that, we have a handle on crime, because at the end of the day, Tobago is known for its serenity, and we want to return to a place where we can feel safe and know that, crime is at least being handled, because at the end of the day, the criminals are going to be the criminals. They're going to look for opportunities. And so we want to continue investing in implementing strategies that will keep them at bay, so that I feel safe, you feel safe, my children and our children and generations to come feel safe in the space that we live in. However, that aside, as I said, criminal activity will continue, because there are people with an agenda, and their agenda is to disturb the peace, yes, and to upset people, and to just take my thing that I work hard for. And so, I want to just ask a quick question before we head into our main topic this morning. What are some of the reasons you can see that has caused this spike in criminal activity on the island? You mentioned, you were talking about the statistics, yes, in terms of the same period last year to this year, and we've seen a significant growth, yeah, for the Tobago space, because this is not something we're used to. What are some of the things you attribute to the increase in that level of criminal activity?
All right, so specifically treating with gang, drugs, guns and ammunition. Those sort of activities has fueled a number of gang-related activities on the island, in which most of the murders that were committed, the motive of it is gang related, and we are seeing that a lot of young persons are getting themselves involved in this, what we describe or what they would describe as a glamorous life. They live fast, die young. Persons are now willing to die for whatever cause, and this is where our homes, our churches, our social activities, at the end of the day, the police is really the last stage of this whole chain, and we would want to be proactive in whatever we are doing. So it's not that you want to lock up somebody. We want to have measures and policies that are going to prevent these young people from joining gangs, seeing these as some sort of glorified lifestyle, which obviously results in the death. And if we look at our statistics, we are seeing how many young persons, how many young men, not excluding the women, are being killed because of alleged gang affiliation and gang glorification. And we are living in Trinidad and Tobago. We are a Twin Island state. The elements of our sister isle do in fact have an impact on us in Tobago. However, our culture should be different. We know how we live in a family-oriented setting. And one of the things I would like to see, when you see strange persons in your community, question them. Long ago, when somebody walking along the street, you're going to ask them, who's your parents? Who you be? We need to return to that sort of setting.
Who are you here to?
Right, yes. Right, in order to prevent, because there are persons who are committing crimes and living amongst us in a very comfortable manner. And if you, as we simply saying, if you see something, say something. Nothing is wrong in making a phone call to the police station, communicating with someone who you trust, because we're always talking about the whole trust issue. But at the end of the day, I just always say, when something happens, not the same police you're going and call. So we need to reach out. We need to create that bridge between the police and other arms of the Ministry of National Security and the general population in order for us to bring back Trinidad.
No place like home, home, home.
Oh, I love Tobago, baby.
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon gone sleeping. Tell them we not leaving till the last drop of bacchanal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. We with all my friends and them. No place like home, home.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show, and we do apologize for that technical issue, and thank you for staying with us. We were just wrapping up conversations about, detecting crime on the island of Tobago, and of course, confidence in the police in terms of bringing information if you do have, especially in the community settings, if you see somebody that is unfamiliar to you in your community, in your area, there are numbers that you can call, and of course, Sergeant Joseph is going to tell us what are some of the numbers you can call anonymously in the event that you are you don't feel to identify yourself so that we can report any suspicious activity in your areas. So what are some of the numbers that persons can call?
Right, so we have two numbers in particular that has been recognized worldwide as safety. So we have the 555, you can call and share your information anonymously. And also we have the 800 tips. Those two numbers in particular have been noted to provide a level of safety and security for persons once you share that information with them. And I have seen it work personally, and it is very effective and it is safe. So we encourage persons, if you have something to say, pick up your phone, make these calls, and be reminded that these numbers are toll free. Because there are a lot of people, they are busy filming, and we ask them, well, call the police, I no money on my phone. So 999 is a free number.
That's right. That's right. So, of course, and it's very important that we, the sooner the information is submitted, is the faster the action can be taken.
Certainly.
To, in measure of crime. All right. So we want to move on to our topic this morning. We're talking about dealing with fraud. And I know you are, the fraud squad, and so it's very important because there are some things that we don't classify or we don't understand that is fraud. And so we want to talk about some of those terms and some of the categories of fraud and fraudulent behavior and things that persons can fall victim to and how we can detect and protect ourselves from any measure of fraud. So I want to invite now Senior Superintendent Arlette Groom to start us off this morning as it relates to, how do we manage ourselves and dealing with fraud.
Thank you, ma'am, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. I am no stranger to Tobago. I'm a son of the soil. Not be it that I've worked Trinidad for all my service, but Tobago is close to my heart. So what I want to tell you this morning that fraud is simply deception. Deception to get your money. When we think about blue-collar crime, you see that gun pointing at you or that knife or that cutlass. But what is pointing at you behind the scene is somebody that you can't see. It's that pen, the computer, social media that is pointing at you and getting into your financial situation. Okay. So anything that seems too good to be true, check it out 1,000 times, not just once. So this morning, I would like to touch on some of the fraud that we encounter daily. So let's deal with fraudulent conversion. Now, that's under the Larceny Act 21 and 22 sections. Fraudulent conversion is simply you're entrusted, like you're having a power of attorney. You're entrusted to do X, the person who you are acting with that power for, and you did Y with it. That's fraudulent conversion, out of the norm of which the power of attorney gives you that right. We have it by directors and members of different corporations, different bodies. These bodies, if you as an officer or a member or a director, you take the companies or the board's funds and you misappropriate it, or any property, that's fraudulent conversion. Let's get down to the normal everyday one. That's where I give you money to pay my tea and tech bill. And you went by Scobie or some other business place and you had a good time. Some names only the older folks may remember, Balalaika or Scobie, and you had a time. That is fraudulent conversion. It's not doing what you are supposed to do with what you have to do with what they gave you to do with it. Simply put, we have it by trustees. You're in charge of wills, mortgages for other persons, and you misappropriate the intentions of that will. That is fraudulent conversion. And also, if by third party, so let us say that you gave me to give John Harry, so that's where we have to apply, to retain, to deliver, or to pay to. You did none of these four things, but you use it to somebody else's use other than mine. Then that is fraudulent conversion. Let us move on now to larceny, trick, and obtaining by false pretenses. Larceny trick is simply me just mama-guying you with old talk, the guile of the tongue. I told you that I have a bluebird for sale. You could get a deal if you pay by tomorrow, if you pay $5,000 tomorrow down, and that bluebird would be yours. You saw no bluebird. You saw no picture of a bluebird. You have no number for that bluebird. You have no certified copy for that bluebird. But me just telling you and you feel, oh yeah, this is a good bargain, you know? But it's too good to be true.
Senior Soup, I want to just plug in here for the younger ones who might not know what a bluebird is. We're not talking about a physical bluebird. It's a brand car.
A brand of
it's a
car.
Nissan, it's a vehicle.
Nissan bluebird.
That's right. Just
but even it was a bluebird that could be sold. You saw no bluebird.
That's right.
Hypothetically, you saw no bird.
That's right.
You saw nothing. And by me just talking to you, you part with your money. That's larceny by trick. How it compares to fraudulent conversion. Let us take, for instance, now you provide the picture of the bluebird. I have a number, I have a certified copy. And I made that down payment. The car is transferred to me, not by ownership as yet, meaning by licensing office, but I have now physical possession of the car, waiting to be transferred. Only to discover that the man was working the car for John Harry or John Doe. And he sold that car without the authority that is obtaining by false pretense. So you see, the object of the false pretense is that what made me led me to believe that you had the right to dispose of this car, that this is my car. John Doe has given me authority to dispose with this car, or sometime here comes the financial institution, the bailiff takes you and your family out the road going to church and tell you this car now belongs to us. They are owing on this car. So due diligence is necessary. There are several companies that you can do the credit checks with. You can employ that. Let them give you photo identification. You don't know who this person, if they are true. Then you check out where this person address is, if anybody knows them at that address. Then you will discover how serious this thing is. So fraudulent obtaining by false pretenses, the object is they must present something for you to part with your money. The object of the false pretense is whatever was shown to you, whether pictures, whether documents, or the thing itself. And it works in all cases.
Yes, Senior. So one of the challenges we are experiencing is persons who are purporting to buy cars, the rent-to-own concept that has been very prevalent in recent times.
There are two aspects of that I can delve into. One, via social media, I have seen where cars are advertised, the rent-to-own. So they give you a bank account to deposit money. You deposit those monies. You never saw the car. You never signed any contract. The contract would be signed on a later date. I don't know if they call it insanity, but you just put your money into an account by just a post. So you post your money, not knowing where the money will end up, and then no car communication has stopped. And if, let us say, 100 persons pay $5,000 each for that
for
car.
the same car. And you see, the thing is, the thing is due diligence, as you rightfully said.
Diligence.
You must do your research. The way this is sounding for me, if somebody advertises something, especially on a social media platform, I've never met the individual, as you said, Senior Soup. I've never met the individual. I've never seen the item. And here I am. Oh, wow, a whole car for $5,000. Wow, this is a steal of a deal. And I was really looking for a car. I'm so desperate for a car because I need a car to get to where I'm going. And this is a steal of a deal. You know what? Before anybody else gets this car, let me pay my $5,000 and get this car.
Correct. And desperation is the word you use. So desperate times, people do desperate things. But they are being defrauded. Let's stick with the D's. And the defrauder don't care. So the object is be alert, be diligent in what you do. I can't put it any simpler. Let us use it at the grassroots level. Don't throw your money behind straws. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. You have your money, keep it. Don't part with your money just like that. Am I reaching somebody this morning?
I suppose you are, if no one else, at least me, because I'm certain I work very hard for what I have. And so, you want to have an account, you want to keep an account for the things that you work for. And of course, it really does take a lot of you have to think things through. If, as you said earlier in your discourse, you said if it looks too good to be true, then maybe it might not be true. So you really have to do your research, do your assessments. I mean, if somebody's selling something online, you want to see, especially women when we shop for clothing, for instance, if I could bring that example, you want to feel the material, you want to ensure it fits right before you part with your money. Employ the same principles when you're shopping online. Ensure that you have some sort of paper trail. Something that you can identify that this product is for real, that this good, that is you could feel it, you can see it, and you can enjoy it. And as you said, to do your research to ensure that I have the right to sell you this item, that it belongs to me, and that I can sell it to you, and it's not my neighbor own or my sister own or my auntie own, that I was just supervising for them. And then all of a sudden I decide, well, they're not even asking about it anymore, so let me see if I can make a buck from it.
Quite rightly said.
Right, and in addition, one of the other stops and checks, you can go to reputable places. If you want to buy a car, go to the registered places that sell cars. If you want to buy a cell phone, you can still do the physical aspect of it. And they also provide the online services. But when you see a Facebook post, somebody advertising something, sometimes another thing you can check on is how long has this page been created? Is it active? Sometimes, and persons nowadays, they are so wise, they're actually putting information to look like something going on. And as I said, that same car, that Bluebird, would have been sold several times, and nobody has it in their possession. So due diligence is important. And as I said, visit the reputable entities to get the best services.
But in the case where I have a car, it's my car, I have the certified copy, I am the owner, and the easiest and cheapest way for me to market my car is to go to a Facebook or a social media page. Hey, I'm selling my car, interested buyers, call this number, message me, or meet me here to see it. And so now you have a situation where a buyer, an interested buyer, is very cautious because of the same fraudulent behavior that can take place. And now there's somebody who is genuine trying to sell their vehicle as well. So how do we mitigate the difference between those two circumstances to ensure that, for the sake of the buyer, that they get a good deal, an honest good deal, and for the sake of the seller, that they do get to sell their car without any sort of judgment or lack of confidence from potential buyers, because of fraudulent behavior by others?
So we can look at one way, and I say this without remorse. After you have done your due diligence that the car is really, you did your checks for the credit, nothing owing on the car, you prove that. In order to transfer that car, well, now that COVID is over, you can go to licensing. Before, it was a problem where you have to have an appointment after purchasing the car. That posed a little trouble because people were capitalizing on that now to get cars that encumbered sold. So one thing I may advise is that after you have cut that check, don't go with cash. Cut a check. Cut a manager's check and meet that person at the transport office. Let them check the car as to the chassis number and everything, so that before you part with that check, you know that it was checked by the authorities. That's one way I could advise you. 2, if you have a reputable garage person who has knowledge of cars and everything, employ them to check that car with you after you have done all your checks, because you know that it's a legitimate car, but yes, you don't want to buy a whole Tinkerbell that when you drive out of licensing, the ball joint drop out on you and everything. Make sure that the car is inspected for the current period, because as you drive out of licensing, the police can stop you for driving and on how they put it, certified car without the sticker, and their demerit points go up. So there's a lot of things you have to consider. So there is still ways and means that you can legitimately do your transaction. And if not, and you want to employ an agent, there are agents available. Reputable agents, you can do a third party. It may cost you a little $1,000 more, but think about it. Is it better to lose 1,000 than to lose 150,000? think about it that way. Safety first, not sorry after. But drawing on that point, like the point before with the bluebird, I just want to draw your attention on a humorous point of how easy it is to get away with rental fraud. So I advertise my house for rent. So John Doe comes with fictitious IDs. I will check EBC or immigration to see if this person's, when they granted, you look at the face and it matches. And then, so I rent my place for you for $2,000 and I collect my security deposit. The fraud take that information now and registered it online on the classifieds. So imagine that fraudster has a key. 10 people views that house. He opens. If he can open, he owns the place. So then he tells you would occupy by the end of the month. So he shows 100 person at $4,000. And then at the end of the month, the fraudster disappears. And you come with the truck and bunks up with 10 other people with trucks. And the owner is now saying, I rented this place to John Doe. Who are you? He says, John Doe. And everybody now realized that he went away with 400,000, 40,000, 100,000 by that simple scheme. So my thing is, even in any transaction, try to identify the owner. The neighbors always know who is or who is not. Go to the street before, the street after, and inquire. People don't like to say go by the rum shop, but the rum shop and in Tobago go by the seaside. Everybody know everything by the market, the rum shop, and the seaside. These are places in Tobago that I know knows everything. I used to be a fisherman and everybody's business used to be on the beach. So don't tell me that you don't know where the beach is, right? Even though you're a Christian and you want to find out information, go to the deepest depth and get the information. The rum shop man, though he drunk, he may tell you the truth, right? So listen to everybody. Okay?
Very, very interesting. And of course, as you said, very humorous way to put it. Of course, that would cause you to really think and to remember. At the end of the day, due diligence is what is called for when you're doing any transaction financially or otherwise to ensure that you're not getting yourself into a trap and that you're not losing your hard-earned dollars. I wish we had so much more time to get more into this conversation. But in closing, is there anything that what is the main thing you really want to tell our viewers this morning to protect themselves from any measure of fraud, or how to detect or identify fraudulent behavior?
1, social media is not always the safest medium for investments or anything. Go by an investment company and do your investment. Everybody is posting investment. One lady lost over 500,000 buying gift cards. Gift cards. And when you check the name of the gift cards, it's only redeemable in the United States, not in Trinidad. She doesn't have a visa. She doesn't have a passport. Isn't that not taking due diligence? Persons are investing $5,000 to get $20,000 in 72 hours. Where on earth is that possible? Except you're into the underworld. Be diligent with your money. Your money answereth everything. And the persons know that your money can be their money. As how the student's companion put it, a fool and his money shall soon be parted. Don't be that person referred to in the first instance. Be the one who is smarter. Keep your money safe and do sensible investments.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We've been speaking with Senior Superintendent Arlette Groom and Sergeant Joseph Jordan of the TTPS this morning, taking us through some steps how to identify fraud and how to protect yourself against it, primarily doing your due diligence and ensuring as your money parts, it parts your hands to someone of integrity and it's a legitimate transaction. So remember, the responsibility really is yours to ensure that the transaction is legitimate. legitimate and that you are not going to be sold a cat in a bag. Thank you so much for staying with us to this point. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio this morning. And of course, before we go for a break, we ask you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Tobago, the date has been set. Saturday, June 22nd, we head to the Jade Monkey once again for the launch of their 2024 Jufi and Mass Band presentation for Tobago Carnival. On Saturday, June 22nd, we gather at the Jade Monkey to get a glimpse of the Jade.
Innovative, dedicated, impactful. The public service now and beyond. Today we celebrate our stalwarts who have left an enduring legacy on the public service in Tobago. Mrs. Bernard Trim was a nursing assistant from 1969 to 1983. She was promoted to contact tracer at the STI HIV clinic and retired in 2019. Mrs. Bernard Trim says getting clients to come to the clinic for counseling and treatment is her greatest achievement. She says discrimination of HIV patients back then made it very difficult as sex was a taboo topic and HIV was considered a death sentence. She says she feels rewarded by the gratitude expressed from the clients she served.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special Wings Friday, 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT Soup Saturday, 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail, or smoke bone. Special $150. Super Sunday, 3 pounds leg and thigh chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
Fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. It's just about 7:48 a.m. So if you're getting to work for 8 and dropping the children off to school, remember to drive safely on our nation's roads. It's a wet morning, so you want to approach with caution. The primary objective is to get there safely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we continue conversations this morning in studio. We speak with Miss Ava McCall, a candidate for Membership and Mobilization Officer for the TPP internal election. Just in case you're wondering what TPP stands for, it's the Tobago People's Party, and their internal elections upcoming very soon. Good morning and welcome. Good morning. Right, it's a pleasure to have you this morning. And so we have the TPP internal elections taking place on the 30th of June. Our nominations were cast on the 20th, I believe. And so now you are a candidate for the membership and mobilization position. So tell us, what is, what want to be a part to serve in this capacity?
Well, what caused me to want to serve in this capacity, especially this capacity, is because I have been doing this all the while. I am always on the ground, always trying to mobilize the people, to rally the people of Tobago. You understand me? For us to think about ourselves here, for a change, and to make Tobago a better place than it is. And I am saying, since we have a structure, we have a party, we have a structure, and we know where we came from, right? We know where we were before, and now we came to this. We branded ourselves, we formed ourselves, but the idea is still the same. The focus is the same. For Tobago people to have pride in our island and to do better. So I said, I was rallying them before. Now I'm giving myself to do it at a more higher capacity, a more, legal capacity. Instead of just being in the background doing it, I want to be at the forefront because I know how I can do it. I know what I can do.
Right. And the position, right? There are other members, of course, contesting this position as well. What makes you stand out among the competition? I know that you're well known on social media for certain. Do you think that that can assist in your influence in terms of getting the mandate for this position carried out? What gives you the edge over the others?
What gives me the edge over the others? I believe I'm a real people person, not just on social media. I am known here, there, and everywhere. I'm a community person. I'm a ground person. I am on the ground. I listen to the people on the ground. I stay on the ground. And
go ahead.
Sometimes, yes, I am there, but sometimes, when people bring situations to you, it's sort of hard to get it to the relevant people that you would like to know what is taking place. So now in this position, I will be able to talk face to face with people and bring the situations one-on-one.
And this is your first time vying for a position of this nature in a political party. How do you see yourself being effective in this role, in this capacity, serving at this level? Because now you have to do it, as you said, legally and legitimately. It will be a mandate and an expectation of you, not just on your own volition, whereas you can, if you feel to today, you can, and then tomorrow you can relax. But now there's going to be a demand. Should you cap this position, there's going to be a demand on you. It being your first time in this capacity, how do you feel you are able to fulfill your duties to your full capacity and to ensure the full impact that is required in this position?
Well, let me give you a little background about me. Now, I'm a church lady, right? And in my church, I am considered a Bible instructor. So I am always there on the ground with people. I am always in and out of homes. I am always where I am needed. And I have time. I have time. I do not have any other, job that could hold me down. I am at, they say they have doctors on call. I am like a doctor on call. If you need me now, I am there.
Right. And what are you looking forward to most? I know the election's coming up on the 30th of June. Should you win, what are you looking forward to the most? And what are some of the first things that you're going to do in this office should you get this the position? How are you going to start hitting the ground running?
Well, should I win, as you say, my first order of business is really trying to mobilize and rally the people of Tobago to become members of this auspicious party. Because we need to build the membership. And we need to build the confidence of the small man on the ground. These are the people who I am most interested in because it's the small man on the ground who really carries elections. It's not just a select few, but the people on the ground. And they need a voice. And they need somebody there who understands their plight. So my first thing is to hit the ground after this election. Really hit the ground, village to village. The slogan was village to village, family by family, child by child. That is my mantra.
Right. And how do you feel now preparing and getting into, you've been nominated and now we're getting ready for the election. How do you feel within yourself? Do you feel confident? Do you feel nervous? Do you feel anxious? What are your feelings right now as you head into the elections, and how confident are you that you have the type of support? Because I'm certain the other candidates also believe that they have the support. You're going into this to win. Everybody's going into it to win. How do you feel in terms of cruising into the 30th of June?
Well, I am feeling because I am a one-man.
But election, we have to have.
I am a one-man team with God. I know that they are what you call what? They call it teams or cliques or whatever. I am going to represent the TPP. I am going to represent myself. I am selling myself. I want to be, you know, allegiance to anybody, because when you have allegiance, maybe team, and then when you're on the team now, a person may be on the team who is not the job, and you may not be able to say, well, all right, I can't really support that person because I know they're not fitted. So when you work alone to do what you were called to do, nobody can tell you, well, all right, push you here and tell you this and push you here and tell you that. You're standing on your own 2 feet with God.
All right. So, you know, in closing, as you prepare for the election, you said you're a one-man team, but as I said, for election, you're definitely going to have people rallying behind you and supporting you if you want to win in the position. Now that you have this platform here and you're getting ready and you want to mobilize people, because this is the position that you're holding, membership and mobilization, what do you want to say to your members, your active members right now, to come when they're coming out to vote? What is the thing that thing that you're going to tell them to encourage them and to convince them that you are the person for the position?
Well, what I would like to say to the active members, those who are bona fide to vote, is that Miss Eva McCall is here to serve you. I'm here to serve the people. I'm here for the people. I'm here as your humble servant, giving myself for service. Most of you know me, and you know what I can do and what I cannot do. And this is serious business. And as it is said, after great failure, because we know all the struggles that we came out of, after those great failures, now is the time for change. And we must, as individuals, be the change. The change must come with us. So a great failure must be changed. And I am here presenting myself to help to bring about that change.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We've been speaking with Ms. Eva McCall, candidate for the Membership and Mobilization Officer of the TPP for their internal elections, mentioning that her primary role is to ensure that there's increased membership for the party as they forge ahead. And so she's presenting herself there for the internal elections come June 30th. You have heard her cry, you've heard her plea, you've heard, of course, her declaration this morning that she's a person for the people. To drive the membership there. So June 30th, we'll see the end results of that internal election, and we wish you the very best there as you put your hand to work and to serve the people. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, but it's not where we end our programming. We continue on with Tobago Notes, and then we head on over to GMT. So stay with us. And as you stay with us, of course, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Last year, October 2023, the island tilted. The peaceful bliss of sea, sun, and sand was transcended as we took to the streets to revel in paradise.
Tobago! It's such a nice place!
Tobago Carnival right here. we not leave it till we go right down.
It's the greatest, it's the best, it's safe, and it's beautiful.
I love Tobago, baby. Coming back next year. Hey!
Playing pan on the streets is a magical experience. When the band strike up, is rhythm, steel and powder. This is Tobago Carnival, pan in paradise.
Tobago is the best.
Tobago Carnival is the new home for the legend of Calypso. Where else can you get sweet Calypso music that gives you that nostalgic feeling?
Soca Titans is we title, is we monarch. We built artists from scratch who can perform with the best. Real Titans of Soca.
When last you've been to a party, plenty women looking so nice. We must be in paradise.
This year, ritual takes on new space and dimension. Traditions will be reimagined, breaking free and taking on new meaning on the road.
I love the energy!
This year, the revelry is bigger and better. More colors, more meaning, great packages for the masqueraders. Tobago Carnival is freedom.
This year promoting safety in all events for Tobago Carnival. This year promoting whining, not minding people business. This year promoting clean fun, security and freedom.
Freedom to be any version of yourself that you choose to be with love and safety. Here, you have permission to be you, uninhibited and free.
So what you waiting on? This year, this October 2024, experience the ritual, revel in paradise, release yourself. From the greatest little island on the planet, this is the Tobago Carnival 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed partners and sponsors, and most importantly, our beloved communities, welcome to the Tobago Heritage Festival 2024. As we embark on the 37th year of this festival, our theme is We Come Back. Back to our communities, back to our villages, back to our true indigenous heritage presentations and productions. We are bringing back iconic events such as Yesterday's Children, Bell Manor Riots, and Courtship Codes. We want to highlight the importance of coming back to our roots, celebrating the people and the communities that make Tobago so special. Get ready for an unforgettable experience as we say, we come back to our true essence. We want to encourage each and every one of you to continue to support our cultural development and preservation in any way that you can. Your support is truly invaluable. Together, we can continue to make a positive impact that will be felt for generations to come. Thank you, and see you in July.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with immense pride and excitement that I address you to officially launch the 2024 Tobago Heritage Festival. The Tobago Heritage Festival is not just an event, it is a journey back to our roots. This year's theme, We Come Back, back to our communities, back to our villages, back to our true indigenous heritage presentations and productions. It captures the true essence of revitalizing the culture and traditions that have shaped our identity for generations. This year marks the 37th successful hosting of the festival, and we are proud to officially dub the month of July as Tobago Heritage Month, a time when our island comes alive with rhythms, flavors, and stories of our ancestors. The festival continues to offer an unparalleled opportunity for economic growth on the island. Every stakeholder, from local artisan and vendor to hospitality businesses and transportation services, stand to benefit. Our vibrant cultural displays will attract visitors, boost tourism, and provide a significant economic uplift to the island. The heart of this festival beats in our communities. We are empowering each village to manage its own productions to ensure authenticity and sustainability. The Tobago Festival Commissions Limited and the Tobago House of Assembly are here to support you, fostering an environment where our heritage can flourish sustainably. As we embark on this journey, let us celebrate the essence of Tobago. Let us honor our heritage and support our communities as we showcase the vibrant culture that makes our island unique. Thank you.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, you know when you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds.
News in 90 seconds is brought to you by Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
Chief Secretary Farley Augustine will present Tobago's budget for fiscal 2024-2025 in the Assembly Legislature today. The budget is expected to focus on human capital development to advance Tobago's overall growth, according to Augustine. As mandated by the THA Act 40 of 1996, the budget must be read and passed in the House by the end of the third quarter of the fiscal year. For exclusive coverage of the budget presentation, tune in to Tobago Updates Television on Facebook or YouTube. Former Acting Commissioner of Police Stephen Williams is serving as a consultant to Commissioner of Police Erla Yearwood Christopher at a rate of $800 TT per hour, based on hours worked. Williams clarified that he is a consultant, not an advisor, noting that consultants are paid per hour of service rather than on a monthly retainer. While he did not detail the specifics of the consultancy, he confirmed it involved police-related matters. Williams served as acting police commissioner multiple times from 2010 to 2018. Since retiring in 2018, he has provided lectures and training workshops to the TTPS, but this is his first formal engagement with a sitting commissioner of police. And finally, reports indicate that a 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Venezuela, west of Trinidad, at 11:58 p.m. on Saturday. Several citizens across Trinidad, including Sangre Grande and Point Fortin, and residents in Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines reported feeling the quake. Many described it as a strong and prolonged, with some being woken up to the tremors. The quake caused electricity outages in northern and northwestern Trinidad, affecting areas such as Carenage, Santa Cruz, North Coast Road, and Glencoe. And that was our news in 90 seconds.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. This morning is a morning like no other, or one of those mornings we should say, where we prepare and we wait and we sit patiently for the THA budget presentation. This morning we would see the Chief Secretary, Farley Augustine, in the House this morning in the Assembly Legislature, and he's going to be reading out the Tobago 2024-2025 budget presentation for this fiscal. And this morning we're going to talk a bit about that with Mr. Barry Jofield, who is an economist. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Chanel. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning, and thank you so much for being with us this morning. Now, this year's budget presentation is focused on human capital development. Tell us a bit about what you are expecting to see out of this year's budget presentation.
I think I might want to put it a bit differently. Let me start off by, basically honoring the memory of my father. Tomorrow will make 11 years since he passed on. And so before I start, there was something that he said to me that might be appropriate in this circumstance. He basically said, if Tobagonians are not careful, we'll probably have to come out of the bush to hunt tourists. And it was a very curious statement that he made at that point in time. And I have grown to be wary of the implication of saying. The point I'm making is maybe human capital development probably will speak to scholarship programs, training Tobagonians, and so on. But in a sense, you train Tobagonians into what economy? We don't have an economy in Tobago that can absorb trained Tobagonians. By the time you become trained, there is no space in the Tobago economy to absorb you. So what we need to do really is to expand and grow the economy so that the training takes place in that context. I think we have really to be.
And when we think about human capital development, we not only think about the skills training of the individual, but we also think about the overall standard of living that persons have to, survive with as they develop holistically. When it comes to housing and infrastructure, do you think that he would find a way to fit this into the whole idea of the human capital development in this particular budget?
Well, I'm hopeful the thought would be in that direction. But let me just go back to say the standard of living issue that you raised is a very important one. In the context of, I don't know that goes so much to human capital development, one aspect of it really. But in terms of the economic development, Tobago is in a really bad shape. We have to recall per capita with 60,000 people, the kind of budget, $3 billion, we're probably averaging maybe 4,000 per month per person in Tobago. Compare that to Trinidad, which is about 8,000 per month per person. And we see the huge disparity immediately in terms of the standard of living of a Tobagonian versus the standard of living of someone living in Trinidad. It's probably clear reasons why most Tobagonians leave Tobago to go to Trinidad or elsewhere to exist. I'm hopeful, though, that the issue of housing is one that is brought squarely onto the cards. I am of the belief that the issue of funding is really a red herring, really, because even in the context of housing, I would like to see something like a housing trust. And a housing trust could be financed without monies from Trinidad. A housing trust could be, could be done based on the THA lands with private sector, the banks, the credit unions putting money in, also private individuals putting money into this housing trust, and houses can be built for Tobagonians without, the need for money from Trinidad, as the case may be. So I'm hopeful that the discussion doesn't go back to we need more money from Trinidad because I think it's a red herring in terms of what we can do with the resources that we have and the resources that we're able to generate by way of encouraging investment into it.
And during the last two budget presentations, we heard a lot about the investment in education, digitalized systems, as well as hybrid learning structures to be introduced, all being a part of that human capital development. For you particularly, where do you think most of the attention and energy should be placed with the limited resources that is often given, even after the budgetary requests are made, in order to help fulfill this human capital development mandate on the island?
Well, for me, I don't know that. Listen, I think we have enough Tobagonians outside of Tobago who would be willing to come if there was the opportunity to do that. So for me, I don't think the issue really is about, you know, developing human capital in Tobago, although it's a necessary evil as well. But I'm saying, though, you have enough Tobagonians working outside of Tobago that are willing to come back and contribute to Tobago. The question is, what do they come back to contribute to? And therefore, it begs the question, we need to develop an economy that allows a Tobagonian living wherever in the world to be able to come back to Tobago and exist. So I think on the last occasion I mentioned the issue about a University of Tobago with international campuses being located in Tobago. If you have something like that, then you would have a situation for education degree who might have exceptional technical skills would be able to come back, operate in an environment like that, find work that they can do, contribute to Tobago. So the idea for me is more about economic expansion and human capital development in a real sense. Although we need that, I subscribe to the view that the economic expansion is more critical in my mind. The ability to attract investment, to expand the economy would be more important than human capital development. Although I'm saying human capital development is critical, it is important.
Okay. And last week we had a press conference from the political leader Patriots, Mr. Watson Duke, and he would have hinted to the fact that this administration has continued to prepare and present a deficit budget, being that they're often projecting or requesting an amount that they have never truly been given. In a conversation last week as well with the management accountant, we heard that a lot of the money that actually is spent out of the THA on a monthly basis goes to overdraft fees from receiving payments late from the central government. Now, with all of this, do you think that we're going to see another quote-unquote deficit budget being presented today?
Well, I don't know that deficit budget is an issue per se. I mean, it depends on what you're using that deficit budget to do. It's just like anybody borrowing. If you borrow money and you invest it in some asset that is going to generate for you returns, beyond what you might get in current time, then it makes sense. So a deficit budget in itself is not an issue. But if you are using this to finance salaries, current expenditure, then it does not make sense. And so I would like to see what this deficit budget is being used to finance, and then you can have a discussion about that. But a deficit budget in itself is not an issue. It's largely dependent on what you are using this deficit budget to finance. I think the more important issue is that we are operating on a transfer subsidy budget, meaning that all we do is wait for money from Trinidad to exist. And I think that is more critical in my mind than even a deficit budget. How do we generate our own revenue in Tobago to do our business in Tobago and be able to supplement this 4%, 6%, as the case may be, that we get from Trinidad. And I think, again, it goes back to the issue of economic expansion, revenue generation. So things like Marina for Tobago, those are the kinds of things I would like to see in the budget, where you can bring, resources to bear on, investment in that kind of way. You would have, that would spawn tourists coming, your yachties coming, and that's the kind of economic expansion we need to look at. Those are the kinds of things we need to be hoping that happens in the budget today, more than just the issue of a deficit budget. A deficit budget in my mind is not a big issue unless it's used for current expenditure.
All right, thank you. And in closing, is there anything that you who want to say as we anticipate that presentation this morning from the Chief Secretary?
Yeah, there are a few things, maybe three. One, I would like to see a division of crime and safety. I think crime is our number one issue. I would like to see a division like that headed. Again, I go back to Tobagonians living outside of Tobago. So you have people like Dr. Wendell Wallace, who is a criminologist, and there are means and mechanisms where he operates from the University of the West Indies. He can be seconded to the THA to head up a unit like this. And you get criminology infused into this whole crime fighting strategy that would allow us to arrest this issue of crime, because crime and safety trumps everything else. If we don't feel safe, and I don't think we feel safe, nothing else matters. Tourists won't come, locals won't go out, the economy will grind to a halt. So I think a division of crime and safety that would allow focus to be placed on crime initiatives and so on, linked to the whole national security apparatus, is one of the things I would want to see. Secondly, I would want to see some emphasis on sustainable energy. Getting into wind, solar, those types of things that would wean us away from our fossil fuel dependence. I would like to hear something about that, and also I would like to hear something about the tourism sector and investment in the tourism sector. Finally, I would really like to hear, though I doubt I would hear it, divestment of many of these THA enterprises. Top of the list in my mind would be an enterprise like Spell. Spell has never made money, and I don't see why selling rocks can't make money, but in the current construct, so I think a divestment of companies like Spell, Pigeon Point Limited to Tobagonians should be on the cards. That would generate income for Tobago and allow the THA some room to create economic space to do other stuff for Tobago.
Right.
So those things.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joffield, and we want to thank you for giving us your time this morning and giving your comments on that THA budget that's going to be presented by the Chief Secretary this morning. Guys, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be right back after this.
Thanks a lot.
It's a different type of thing down there, and we party till we drop down there, with a lot of pretty girls down there, down in Tobago.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
No place like home, home, home.
Oh, I love Tobago, baby.
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon gone sleeping. Tell them we not leaving. Till the last drop of bacchanal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. Wave with all my friends and them. No place like home. We go jump till the moon come down. It's we who the stars shine on. Play a mass and break away. Freedom in with DNA.
Sun Up Tobago is here. Join us on Saturday, July 6th from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Delta Compound Argyle for an unforgettable summer experience. Enjoy an all-inclusive experience with mouth-watering food, coolers are allowed, and best island vibe. This is a tickets-only event. Get your tickets now at Barco, Lus, and Pablo's Argyle. Don't miss out on the event of the summer. Sun Up Tobago, sponsored by Tobago Updates, B-Mobile, State Solutions, and Thorns Place.
Look at people in here tonight.
The countdown is on to the Tobago Public Service Day Expo 2024. Join us on July 5th at the Shore Park Complex to discover the dynamic world of public service where innovation meets dedication. Explore exciting careers, experience innovative services, enjoy interactive displays, and a whole lot more. Come join us on July 5th at the Shore Park Complex from 9:30 a.m. Visit the Office of the Chief Secretary's Facebook page for details. Tobago Public Service Day Expo to more public service now and beyond.
All right, good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. As we continue with this morning's conversations, we are continuing to talk a bit about that TPP internal elections. And to have that conversation with me this morning, I have a woman who is no stranger to the Tobago public, neither is she a stranger to politics, attorney Chrislyn Moore. Good morning and thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here this morning with us. Now, you have presented yourself to be one of the candidates for the TPP internal elections.
Yes.
But not just any candidate. You are vying for the position of chairperson of the party.
Yes.
Now, firstly, tell us a bit about when the party was actually registered and the role that you played in that entire registration / constitutional process that the party has gone through to be where they are at this point.
All right. So part of it is historical. The registration of the party, of course, had nothing to do with me. So I'm not trying to take credit for anything there. But the party has been registered over a year now. That is a historical fact. I was asked to play a role in the drafting of the Constitution. It was a collaborative effort because constitutions are legal documents. You know, you want lawyers involved. So I lent my expertise to that. While the document was later ratified and amended in significant parts by the party membership as a whole, we did play a significant part in creating the document. And I think no document is perfect. And, you know, it will evolve as the party grows and so on. But certainly, I think the document in large part, as seen by the membership, is fit for purpose and is perhaps relevant to the party at this time. Constitutions, of course, always change.
Right. And, you know, there's no way you could come without me asking about your history as the political leader of the Tobago Forward and how that ties into your running and your candidacy here in this new party, the TPP. Right.
Well, it does not. It does not. I, in my life, have a lot of hats, and all of them have come together to create the space that I'm in now and the person that I'm in now. And so I can't say that it's one particular incident or association or position that I've held that I bring to this candidacy. It is really the whole of me. So I bring 30 years of legal experience. I bring several years of management experience, bring 35 years of strategy, legal strategy, some political strategy, management of people, collaboration, cooperation. I bring all of that into the position. So my focus is the Tobago People's Party.
Right. And what do you say about those persons who say, well, this is the season for women to lead? How do you feel about that?
I think every day is a day for women to lead. I am a firm advocate of women taking their place at the table. This is not to say that women should supplant men. I'm not making that argument. But there are a lot of talented women in all spaces. And sometimes, you know, there's a shyness. And it always helps to see another sister, another mother, another aunt making a step forward. And that tends to empower the girls who look on. So I am really, really grateful for the opportunity to perhaps inspire some other young woman in some space somewhere to say, hey, you know, I could do that or something similar. So,
understood. Now, there are the persons who have been saying,
yes,
well, with Chrislyn Moore at the chairperson position of the party,
yes,
it's simply old party with the new logo. What do you have to say about that?
That would be really unfortunate. You know, the organization that is the Tobago People's Party is an inclusive organization. Yes, it is a new organization. It is not version 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 of any other organization. So, and there's nothing anybody can do to take that away from this organization. So it is really mischievous to assert that because one person has a role in an organization that somehow devalues the organization. That really is unfair to the organization and the people who have worked so hard to get this organization to where it is. And it's really narrow-minded. The organization is much bigger than any one person.
Right. And you would also be going up against Assemblyman Trevor James for this position. And there is the consensus out there that too many sitting politicians in a place of management over a political party negates the ability to hold that party accountable from its members. How do you feel about that?
Right. So I can say what is my vision for this position. My vision for this position is that it is to establish a clear demarcation in the position. So this position is not in competition with any other role or function. So for example, this is a position that is administrative and management. Therefore, it does not compete with the political direction of the party, which is set by the political leader and his team. This is a position that does not impact on the day-to-day decisions of the Executive Council that they make for the island, the forward thrust of their vision. So it does not conflict with the Executive Council. This is a position that is internal, that is structural to the party, that is administrative and management. So I feel the more energy you have to put into a management position, the better it is for you, right? So it doesn't matter where else you are. The question is, how much energy do you have to put into this position, into what is required, and is that energy going to be seen as conflicting with any other duty that you have, whether it is internal to the THA, whether it is your job, whether it is your marriage, whatever it is. Once you can establish that, 1, you have the energy, 2, you have the vision, 3, you have the time, and 4, that there is no conflict that would, appearance of conflict. Now, it might not be a real conflict, but the appearance of a conflict is distracting. So my vision is to create a space where there is no appearance of a conflict.
So do you think that with Trevor James possibly being the chairperson, that it would simply be a repeat or a duplication of the executive council functioning within the party when you have the political leader being a sitting politician, the chairman being a sitting politician, you have your secretaries, your deputy political leaders, as well as your treasurers being sitting politicians? How does that create a clear line of demarcation between what happens at the party level as compared to what is happening at the executive council level?
Now, I cannot answer that because I cannot speak for anybody. I cannot speak for Assemblyman James, and certainly it would be impertinent to do so. Again, what I can say is I have a vision. And my vision is to create a management structure, or to support, not create, but support a management structure that at this early stage of the party development does not create a distraction by appearing to conflict. Now, we have to remember as well, we are a small island. And if we, and at some point you will have people with several roles, and there's nothing wrong with that. But where it can be avoided, particularly early on in the development of an organization, my personal view is that it should be avoided. There may come a time that it cannot be avoided, or maybe it should not be avoided now, but that is not my view. My view is that at this early stage, it ought to be avoided in order to build a stronger organization.
Right. And Natasha Second, she is also one of your competitors for that position of chairman of the party. Now, she would have been extremely instrumental in the party's registration. We saw that she was there at the launch. She would have chaired those meetings, some of those strategic discussions that the party would have had publicly. We saw her there at the forefront, kind of being the face of the party. And there was that expectation that Natasha Second was going to be the party chair. How do you respond to those persons who said after so much work that she would have put in to get the party to where it is at, she should have gone unopposed?
Well, I think Natasha is a beautiful, beautiful person. I've known Natasha for most of my adult life and some of my not so adult life. We attended bishops together. I was much older. So Natasha is a lovely, lovely person. People have to decide themselves what is the vision for this position. I do not know anybody else's vision for this position. So I cannot speak to that. I think it would be improper. But what I can say is that at this time in the party's development, people to consider how do they want the chairmanship to present? What are their expectations? Can these expectations be met by any one or all of the candidates? What are the timelines for their expectations? And whether or not any particular candidate, either collectively or together or alone, can meet these expectations. At the end of the day, choosing one person against another for any position does not reflect on the person that is not chosen at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, of us to find a way to contribute. So we're all in the same place, going in the same direction, perhaps with different views as to how we can get there. So I think the population of Tobago and the population of the TPP, I think they have a clear idea of how they want this position to present. And I think they have a clear idea as to who can get them there. And I think that's fair.
All right. And what would you like to do differently in this role as chairman of the party compared to some of the stuff that you would have done while you were political leader of the Tobago Forward?
So again, this is not a comparator. This is chalk and cheese. So I am going to focus not about where I was, because that is a matter of experience. I will want to focus on where I am.
Mm-hmm.
In my view, this is, as the Constitution says, this is an administrative and management position, right? So we are looking at how we can influence the management of this organization and how can we effectively move the general administration of the organization. This is not a front room position. This is back of house. There's hard work, shoulder to the wheel, nobody sees your face, so that when the organization presents, it presents as a well-oiled moving machine. That's what this is. So in my view, a successful management of position will look like in the first perhaps 10 to 20 days or so, a needs analysis, a SWOT analysis, a meeting with all team leaders, an assessment of where you are, across the spectrum, a gap filling exercise, a review of the party structure, resources, assessment of financial health. It will, evaluate our effective use of communication channels, strengthen those. This is administration, pure administration. It is not politics. It is not island governance. It is administration and management, and those are the skills that are going to be called to bear. How do you run the organization, the company that is called the PDP, so that that company can manifest in the best way and that its outcome can be optimal for the political space and for the ultimate leadership space.
All right. Well, you heard it here, guys. This is one of the candidates for the TPP internal elections, Miss Chrislyn Moore. Thank you so much for giving us your time this morning.
Thank you
We know
very
it's
much.
very rare that you would do interviews, so
Very
we're glad
rare. Very
that you
rare.
decided to come on to Tobago Updates this morning. All right, guys, we're going to take a brief break right here, and we'll see you really soon after this break.
Innovative, dedicated, impactful. The public service now and beyond. Today we celebrate our stalwarts who have left an enduring legacy on the public service in Tobago. Mrs. Bernard Trim was a nursing assistant from 1969 to 1983. She was promoted to contact tracer at the STI HIV clinic and retired in 2019. Mrs. Bernard Trim says getting clients to come to the clinic for counseling and treatment is her greatest achievement. She says discrimination of HIV patients back then made it very difficult as sex was a taboo topic and HIV was considered a death sentence. She says she feels rewarded by the gratitude expressed from the clients she served.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates, guys. Sadly, we're winding down this morning, but as we wind down this morning with our conversation, we are talking to Mr. Ashwood Jack. And this morning, we're discussing a number of things that are happening in Tobago space. One of those things being that the budget is being presented this morning. But before we even get into the budget, have you been paying attention to this internal TPP elections?
Yeah, right. Well, I know about it.
Right. Now, we have seen, quite surprising, some persons putting themselves forward, specifically for the position of chairman of the party. I just spoke to attorney Chrislyn Moore. We see that Mr. Trevor James is also putting his hat in the ring for chairman. And we have Natasha Ann second, who is also going to put her hat in the ring. Now, what we have noticed is that a number of those core executive positions, we have sitting politicians vying for those positions. In your experience as political leader of the TOP, is it really in the best interest of a party to have so many sitting politicians that are in executive positions on the actual party executive?
I'm very careful with that because it can give the impression that what it says though is that to have those high-ranking positions in the government and the organization calls for a lot of time and sacrifice. And there's a possibility that one might suffer over the other. And so, especially in a new organization,
Back to Morning Tobago. Before we left for the break, I was asking Mr. Jack his opinion and perspective on having so many members of the THA executive, sitting politicians, as executive members of the political party.
yeah, and I was saying that that issue need to be taken into perspective. It is pretty normal that a number in these political organizations, some of the most high-profile members of the organization become ministers or secretaries. It had happened in Tobago under the last administration for quite a while. Secretary for Tourism was the chairman of the party for quite a while. And it happens in Trinidad because of the amount of sacrifice and work. They are usually rewarded with ministerial or secretarial responsibility. That need to be done to put it. And so I think one of the things that need to be done is that whosoever becomes chairman of these new organizations have to be able to command the respect of the majority of not only the membership, but also in this case, which is a unique case where an organization has been built while in government. Normally you build an organization to get government. This organization is in government while it has been built. And so you find that will call for a different kind of commitment, that kind of thing. But when I saw the list, it also tells me that there's a lot of interest in the organization when you see the number of persons offering themselves, which is also a good thing. I just want to guard against the outcome of the election, that people don't take it too personal. That it's an internal election. At the end of the internal election, there will be a winner and there will be losers. But it must be seen in the spirit of camaraderie, that we are all working for the same purpose. But yes, some persons will have won, and the experience and all that of all the persons will be needed on a number of different committees and all that in order to give the organization the kind of fillip that it needs to push it forward.
All right. And this morning, we are seeing the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly fulfilling that mandate of Act 40 of 1996 by presenting that budget for fiscal 2024-2025. Now, do you have any perspectives on this administration choosing this time around to focus on human capital development for this particular budget?
Okay, there are two things I want to start off by saying I've objected to something from 96 to now, and I continue to object to it. There is no Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly. There's none. There have never been, and there is none present. There's a Chief Secretary of Tobago. The Tobago House of Assembly is the institution. It is like saying the Prime Minister of the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. So I just want to credit up for Tobagonians, because I'm seeing it done not only by persons on the outside, but even people within the administration.
Right.
And so that is one. The issue of choosing human resource development as a theme for this budget becomes very important, because everything else hinges on that. Everything else hinges on that. In that, once that human resource is developed, because when you go around the island, there are a number of persons, young and not even so young, that are either unemployed or underemployed. And in order for us as an island to move forward, you have to use the most of your human resource. Of course, that will have to be coupled with capital expenditure, because if you only have human resource and no capital expenditure to carry out the work of the human resource, then of course you are at the same place. But I think in looking at that as the theme of this budget, there's something else that for me becomes very, very important. When you look at the Tobago's allocation of the budget, which is about 4.03% of the budget, and of that which works about just over $2 billion, of course, about 2-point-something billion dollars, normally about 2.2, 2.4. But yet your capital expenditure is just about $260 to $300 million. And that, again, is going to have an adverse effect on how much you can do. You have to take into consideration that the administration took over and had outstanding bills of in excess of $1 billion. So even if you took all the capital expenditure money, because their development money is a very strange money. It is to pay salaries, wages, to pay your rent, to pay things like your utility bills and stuff like that. So there's very little flexibility in that area. But in building that out, you also find a situation where there are too many, and I know that everybody is waiting and hoping that the constitutional amendment bill is passed. And that will also take up a lot of the new human resource because of the new responsibilities. But I have a different take. I have been in this thing since I was a very, very young boy. And I've seen the expectation being dashed time and time again. And my contention with this is that if any government is serious about giving Tobago internal self-government, and it's taken as long as it have, from 1977 to now, we're almost 50 years. There are things that can be done. Act number 40 of 1996 was a step in the right direction. But there are a number of things that could and should be done in the meantime to show that we're serious about giving Tobago autonomy. For example, you allow the things that are in the 5th schedule, all the laws of Trinidad and Tobago that still says a minister shall have. Mm-hmm. There should be amendment to those acts to allow that in Tobago House of Assembly. Then you will show that you're serious about giving Tobago. Let's look at a couple of cases in point. Tongue and Country. Tongue and Country is in the 5th schedule. Everything is in place. And every couple of years there's a threat, I call it a threat, to give you Tongue and Country. And then there's a holdback. But the question is, if Tobago does not have Tongue and Country as part of its core development tool, it means that every time Tobago wants to do something, and I'm hearing the issue of the airport, beside the airport, the hotels to be constructed and stuff like that. And if you don't have control over the speed with which those approvals are given, and if there's an adversarial relationship with a government in Trinidad, it means that with the best intent, you will be stymied. And so all the human resource that you would have, and the world have become so small. Look at what is happening with our nurses and other healthcare professionals. Almost on a yearly basis, a large number of them migrate because there are better opportunities. And it will happen with a lot of other areas once the opportunity for self-realization isn't there.
Right. And let's move on to what we may see being asked today compared to what we are accustomed getting.
Well, and that's the other thing I was, in fact, this was in the train of thought.
Right.
Expect the budget to request in the vicinity of $5-point-something billion and expect to get 2-point-something. And that is the trend. That has been the trend since 1996 when the Act number 40 came in. For people who don't know, the percentage of the budget that came to Tobago was in the vicinity of 1.8 to the highest 2.2. That is where the Dispute Resolution Commission was written into the Act and triggered by Mr. Charles and the administration to which I belong. And it came out that in 2020, the Dispute Resolution Commission would have given its ruling, and that says you must get no less than 4.03 to a high of 6.9. Of course, you always get 4.03. 1-2 times you get probably 4.05, 4.06 kind of thing. But the question that one must ask oneself is this: is Tobago given the best opportunities to be able to raise additional revenue? And that's where I was talking about Tobago, some of those things been freed up, so that if you have more hotels being built in Tobago, management positions and all the other positions, then you will find yourself in a position where more people are being able to employ. You will have more taxes paid in Tobago, or should be paid. And that again brings me to something that is in the Act that speaks to the financial rules of the Assembly. Within 3 months of the Act number 40 of 1996 being actualized, after December 1996, the election was in December 1996. Within 3 months, the financial rules were sent to the government for approval. We are in 2004, it's 28 years later. So in 2024, those financial rules have never been approved. When the next administration came in 2001, they too sent the financial rules. Still, it's not done. Have an impact onto how the kind of work you can do. And then you have another situation where a number of ministries in Trinidad have responsibility for approving, let's say for instance, our export license. And if you can't do that, and the ministry decide everything you want, your best look at your export, in this case at Study Park. You can't export. And therefore, this is a prime area where you could be making money, because you could borrow money, buy your new equipment, have enough to both do local and to do regional. And that would have brought in the vicinity of $300 million per year. And so all those things have to be taken into consideration, and the acts that have responsibility for things that impact the lives of Tobagonians. You have to amend those acts and give those responsibility to the Tobago House of Assembly.
But how effective is it to go to the Assembly Legislature to present a budget for a particular figure that we know
it's frustrating.
We are not going to get?
It is frustrating.
Is it that we are just seeing a situation where we're hearing the Chief Secretary talk about lofty ideas and policies, knowing that he would not be able to get the type of money it takes to execute that? So where do we draw the line between what's fiction and what's reality when the budget is being presented?
And I think that that's a fantastic question, because what you do, administrations, I don't care which one of them, whichever Secretary of Finance goes to the House, they go to the House and they present what they think Tobago needs to be able to take care of its developmental needs, and without knowing what the national budget will be. And at the end of that, they will write a national budget and tell you, this is what we're giving you. But you don't have much will room. So if you ask me, and I was very much involved in the writing of Act number 40 of 1996. And of course, this is not what went to the Parliament. This is a whole watered down version of what went, because they didn't have the numbers in order to get the internal self-government that went to the House, because the then PNM administration voted against all that power for Tobago. And so I think one of the things that need to be revisited is that maybe the government need to have a conversation with the Tobago House of Assembly prior to the budget and says, listen, our estimated budgetary figures is 60 billion. Your share of that is 2.2 or 4.03. And therefore, a more realistic thing for Tobago will be knowing in advance what you're expected to receive, and therefore write a budget based on that. That coupled with the other things with which we were just mentioning about allowing Tobago to raise its own revenue. One of the things that people don't understand is that the majority of Tobago revenues are paid in Trinidad. Every bank that operates in Tobago pays out its taxes in Trinidad. All your TNTech bills, your TSTT bills, all your VAT, and all that. The money is not registered as part of the Tobago economy. It is registered in Trinidad. I remember when they were building what used to be the Hilton, which is a plantation. In that year, the property tax, not property tax, sorry, it's the sales tax in that year was more than the Tobago development budget. And that is what Tobago paid, but their head office was in Port of Spain. So all that money was paid in and then put in into taxes as well as the general. And you look as though Tobago doesn't. All the cars, 90% of the cars that are on the roads in Tobago, they are purchased in Trinidad, and therefore all those is not registered as a Tobago's contribution to the national economy. And when you take that along with the stifling of the other things, what do you have? Have you heard any government speak about the gas fines outside of Castara and say, look, okay, this is how Tobago would be affected? You say, okay, we'll put all in the big pool, and you give your 4.03. Those things, Tobago must be aware that no, it can't work like that. It has happened like that in the past, where a lot of the gas fines, not the oil fines, if you are to be going to live in the east, as indeed you are, you will recognize if you're going up in the night, straight across from the study park area, you will see the lights burning. That can't be in the Trinidad waters, that is in Tobago. What is the situation with negotiations for Barbados fishing in Tobago waters? How does that affect? Is there compensation from the government since that is stuff that is taken away from Tobago? So there are a number of things that Tobago needs to do in order to one, show its real contribution to the economy, two, to realize its full potential, and three, the issue of waiting on an internal self-government bill that will always fall short when there are things that could be done now in order to show that you're serious about giving Tobago this autonomy and therefore allow Tobago to go.
Right. And as we wrap up this morning's discussion, are there any lessons that you think this administration has learned from its past two budgets that we can or we may see implemented in this presentation this morning?
Well, I don't want to play a god. I try to think into people's head, but what I think the issue of concentration on human development is very important, because a lot of the public outcry is really about people being unemployed and underemployed. And so what the question still remains, how is it going to be funded?
Right.
And that is my biggest concern. And the funding of that could take place if there's a freeing up of some of the regulations in terms of not really freeing up, but allowing some of those things to be done in Tobago. Because if you're a government wanting to do things for your island, you will recognize that these are important, and so it goes through the system very quickly in terms of the approval process. And I want to ask the country a simple question. If Trinidad and Tobago situations was reversed and all the decisions were made in Scarborough instead of Port of Spain, do you think that our brothers and sisters in Trinidad would have sat down and just say, well, there is one country, and wait? It would not have happened. And therefore, we in Tobago have to become a lot more conscious. We have to take the politics of division, the politics of hate. It's almost as though people hate you because you don't belong to the same organization. People threaten you, people waiting for you to be able to pull you down. And that is part of the problem that allows us not to be united. Because as a united people, the issue of self-governance would have come.
Right. All right. Well, we want to thank you for your contribution on what we may be able to look forward to this morning, and we would be paying attention. And again, you can exclusively presentation here on Tobago Updates. Mr. Jack, I want to thank you for coming in this morning and giving us your time.
Thank you very much
Guys,
for
we want to
having me.
thank you for sticking with us this morning. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments. And thank you for doing all that you can and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. And remember, you can catch us on Tobago Updates Television as well as our Facebook and YouTube pages. Guys, thank you and have a great day.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Guyana's president predicts a compromise to end a crippling teachers' strike. Historical documents lost as a building at Barbados's Archives Department is destroyed by fire. And the Bahamas is set to re-establish a diplomatic presence in Haiti. I'm Renee Sion, following some of the big stories across the region in this Caribbean Week in Review. Guyana's President Irfan Ali says a deal that could end a protracted nationwide strike by teachers, which has significantly affected the country's education system, could be around the corner. He expressed optimism that the Ministry of Education and the Guyana Teachers Union, the GTU,